You know what I don't miss at all? That brutal week before my period when I'm exhausted and all I want is sweets. All of them. I'm talking chocolate, cookies, chips, basically anything with sugar or salt. It's like my body takes over and I can't stop. That's when I found Happy Mammoth. It's so much easier to manage PMS with their estro control. Happy Mammoth is the company that created Hormone Harmony, and they're dedicated to making women's lives easier. That means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and honestly, it shows. The biggest benefit to Hormone Harmony is really feeling like myself again. That's what women mention over and over in their reviews. And there are literally over 17,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code DIARIES at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DIARIES for 15% off today. A special thanks to Happy Mammoth for sponsoring today's episode. I want to take a moment to talk about something really important: mental health. Now, I've had the chance to try therapy a few times in my life, and let me tell you, it's always been a helpful tool when sorting through difficult moments. Therapy gave me the space to work through challenges, and more importantly, it helped me gain tools to deal with whatever life throws my way. That's why I'm excited to share something I think is really awesome. Rula. It's a healthcare company that makes therapy more accessible, so you can get the support you need when you need it. Finding the right therapist can feel overwhelming, but with Rula, it's easier than ever. With a network of over 10,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, you can find the perfect match for your needs, preferences, and state requirements, whether you're looking for talk therapy or medication management. Plus, most major insurances are accepted, so you can pay as little as $15 per session. And another thing that sets Rula apart is their end-to-end care. They're with you every step of the way, from matching you with the right professional to scheduling appointments and even tracking your progress. Rula is dedicated to your success, ensuring you get quality care with carefully screened providers and support throughout your journey. So whether you're looking for therapy or medication help, Rula has the range of care you need. It's all about finding the right solution, even if you're not exactly sure what that is. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/diaries to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/diaries and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' The Amateur. When his wife is murdered, Charlie Heller, the CIA's most brilliant computer analyst, must trek across the globe and use his only weapon, his intelligence, to hunt down her killers and enact revenge. Starring Academy Award winner Rami Malek and Academy Award nominee Lawrence Fishburne. The Amateur. Rated PG-13. Only in theaters April 11th.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unscripted, where we talk about whatever we've found online this week, whatever's going on in our lives. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Paige.
And Paige and everyone else, I have a story that I want to update you on. A story that I believe most of our listeners for MD know. There's this very famous woman named Selena Quintanilla-Perez.
Yes.
We have covered her in the past. She was an icon for the early pop music of the 1990s.
And Tejano.
And she was tragically murdered by her manager a little more than 30 years ago. Well, this woman that is responsible for Selena's death, Yolanda Saldivar, is now eligible for parole at the end of this month, at the end of March. And this comes 30 years after her conviction for Selena's death. There are articles coming out about it within the last day or two. There was an interview that one of her family members gave with the New York Post, and the family said Yolanda knows what she did was wrong and she takes responsibility for it, but she was reacting to the way she was confronted. And a couple of other articles that have spawned from that interview. the headlines read, Selena Quintanilla-Perez's killer claims late singer partially responsible for her own death. So not only is Yolanda up for parole, but now she is continuing the narrative of, well, Selena is partially to blame for what happened. And I just am so shocked that she could be in jail for 3 decades and still come out with, well, it wasn't necessarily all my fault.
So on brand.
It's so on brand for her.
For those that aren't as familiar with the story, Yolanda actually started as the fan club president for Selena. And as they grew closer and more trusted, unfortunately, she did end up becoming a manager for Selena. And then after some shady stuff was going down, they believe that Selena was confronting her, and then Yolanda shot her in a hotel room in Texas. After being shot, Selena did run to the lobby. I believe it's been a while since we covered the story. I watched that movie all the time. Growing up in Southern California or any border state, you knew Selena. You did not have to be Latinx to know Selena. Like Southern California to Texas, you knew Selena growing up.
She was big in my household. I loved her music growing up, but I do want to give some facts.
Please.
So I did say 30 years ago. And her murder happened on March 31st, 1995. So we are a couple of weeks away from the 30th anniversary. And as Paige mentioned, this confrontation happened after Yolanda was discovered to have done something inappropriate with funds that Selena's company had. I guess Selena was confronting her about embezzling a reported $30,000 from her clothing boutiques, which Yolanda was helping manage in some way. But Yolanda, to this day in 2025, still denies ever stealing from Selena, which is insane. And it's just wild to me that, as we've learned in interviews that we've done with survivors and cases we've covered through Murder Diaries, obviously this is unscripted, so we normally don't talk about true crime stuff here. But it's shocking to me that people who are so obviously guilty do get these parole hearings and have these notions that they may not be as responsible for the crimes that they obviously committed. This was a story that I had to share because Selena has a special place in my heart. And I know that people are always interested in her story. And 30 years later, after her death, it's still going on. The family's still dealing with what Yolanda did to them.
It's so hard to understand why, especially after already being convicted, why you would bother saying that instead of just letting be what be. Here's your parole hearing or whatever, like just going through the motions without making statements like that, because it really does re-traumatize. And in this respect, obviously the family is first and foremost, but there was an entire community that was traumatized by losing this woman who was beloved and I believe was 23, almost 24 years old. I believe her birthday was in April of 71.
Paige is really good with birthdays and numbers.
It's a sickness. I get it from my grandma. Rest in peace. But that is who I get it from. But yeah, I'm pretty sure April of 71. So she would be almost 54 years old today. I can't imagine. She'd be looking so good.
Oh, she'd be looking good. Okay, I just pulled up her Wikipedia page. Yes, she is an April baby, April 16th. Yeah, so she was 23 when she passed away. You were almost right on the money. I can't believe this. I mean, I'm still surprised.
I kind of hate myself for it, but it's also a cool knack to have. If you tell me once, I will at least be able to place your birth month for like the duration of our friendship or whatever, at a minimum.
I'm impressed.
But anyways, it's really sad to think that her family's going to have to be dealing with all of this, and the community will be riding at dawn. So you just watch TikTok or Reels. If you're chronically online, like Natalie and I are, there will absolutely be people talking about this and maybe covering it a little bit to see what happens with Yolanda. Speaking of hotels, which, as we mentioned, Selena was unfortunately murdered in, there is some drama surrounding Riu Republica and Punta Cana during this spring break season. And when I say it's a disaster, it is pretty unbelievable. We're talking about basic necessities not really being able to be met pretty much.
Is this like Fire Festival all over again?
It kind of is, but Riu Republica has multiple locations, and people who stayed at this one in Punta Cana and or are talking about it are like, I stayed at the one in Jamaica and it was the best thing of my life. So this is not about Riu Republica as a whole. And to be honest, I don't know that brand very well. This one in Punta Cana ran out of power multiple times. So people couldn't get Wi-Fi. They couldn't charge their phones. And these things have become lifelines. So when we say, oh, whatever, just unplug. And, we had so much life before these things. We did. But unfortunately, now life is run on them. So we have an entire generation that was born in, let's say, you should not be going to spring break if you're over 24 years old. Okay. 24 and under, please. Like 18 to 24.
Spring break is not a place for me and Paige.
Yeah, we're definitely not going. So these people, these young adults, they don't really know barely how to do life without it. They were born under it and they were taught and forced from the ages. And I know because I used to substitute teach, they were taught how to do life under these things. That's how they learned life. Okay. And also, we're at a phase of life now where when one loses power, you actually lose a lot of basic lifelines now because everything is so tied to the internet. Back before it wasn't tied to the internet. So when you didn't have power, there were different things you could do. And obviously it was still inconvenient. But
well, it's also a safety issue because we've had a number of students who have gone missing and remain missing during spring break. We have Natalie Holloway and a couple other cases that we've covered on the Murder Diaries. So I can imagine that as these younger generations are going to spring break and going to be enjoying the activities that, there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of partying, there's a lot of late nights. The one request that these parents probably have is just please stay in touch. And if the electricity's down, you can't charge your phone, then you can't stay in touch with your parents. I'm sure there's a lot of worry, extra worry unnecessarily.
Yeah. It becomes a safety issue in that you might not even be able to have access to their regular phone lines. I don't know, but everything is so internet based. And we're talking about a hotel. So can they even call an emergency service if something goes on when the power's out? And guess what? People don't have access to their items such as sunscreen, hats, changes of clothing if it gets hot or cold.
Because they can't get into their rooms because everything is a key lock. I didn't even consider that.
Every time the power went out, the key cards changed. So I don't exactly know what that looked like, but I do know that that was the case. On top of the power stuff, they had no running water. So I don't know how these people were showering, but there was a period of time where running water was an issue. I couldn't find a video that elaborated too much on that, but yeah, there were water issues.
For this specific hotel or the area itself?
The hotel.
So it's just the hotel. The hotel doesn't have a generator, obviously, or at least one that works well. So no electricity, no water.
Yeah. I think they got bottles of water or they were able to buy them. You know what I mean? And a lot of people do buy water for their rooms. So I think they had access to drinking water and were brushing teeth with drinking water. But how are these people showering?
How are they flushing the toilet?
How are they flushing the toilet? You run into really big issues. It's a nightmare. And you paid lots of money to do this.
Today's episode is brought to you by Acorns. People often say that the best investor is a dead investor. Morbid or not, here's why. It's because those who have passed can't make rash decisions, and they can't pull their money out in a panic every time they hear about a dip in the stock market. Acorns is built to help you invest for the long term, and, well, you don't need to be dead. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. What's great about it, too, is you don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes. Basically, Acorns does all the hard parts so you can give your money a chance to grow. Sign up now and join over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/diaries or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive deposit to grow Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/diaries. This episode is sponsored in part by our friends at Hers. Let's face it, weight loss can feel overwhelming to say the least. That's why Hers is changing the game. By providing access to GLP-1 medications plus expert care, they make your goals more achievable. Hers is literally transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans that are delivered straight to your door if prescribed. Hers offers a holistic weight loss program with personalized solutions that include compounded GLP-1 weekly injections that feature the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, or even oral medication kits. It's so easy to do. Here's how it works. After you submit an online intake form, a licensed medical provider will determine what plan is best for you. If prescribed, your program includes medication, ongoing care, and online support, and it's all at one low cost. Weight loss plans are more affordable through Hers with compounded GLP-1 injections starting at $165 per month. That's with a 12-month plan paid up front for new subscribers. No hidden fees and absolutely no membership fees. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/diaries. That's forhers.com/diaries for your personalized weight loss treatment options. Forhers.com/diaries. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. My parents did an incredible job of helping me build healthy associations with money. It wasn't just about learning numbers, it was about understanding how balance and intentionality shaped our financial lives. Those early lessons set me up for success and helped me navigate the real world with more confidence when it came to money. And it's a big reason why I'm so excited to share today's sponsor with you, Acorns Early. Acorns Early is a smart money app and a debit card for kids that helps them learn the value of money. Kids can spend what they earn with their very own debit card. They'll love the new sense of independence and getting to choose from 35 plus customizable card designs. Plus, parents can keep track of where and when their kids are spending. You can get real-time spend notifications, set your kids' spending limits, and instantly block lost or stolen cards. They might not realize it now, but starting to invest early is going to have a huge impact on their financial future. And the best part? It's simple. And Acorns Early is such a smart, accessible tool to do that. If you're looking for a way to make a real difference in the financial future of the younger people in your life, Acorns Early is an amazing place to start. Ready to help your kids learn the value of money? Just head to acornsearly.com/diaries or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled.
Also, add on top of that, and I saw actual footage of this, the food looked foul. I mean, we're talking like watery burgers, just like strewn on top of each other. Strewn, what's the word? Hot dogs sitting in like water. I know boiling hot dogs is like a thing, but it just looked so gross. They didn't even have access to proper food. And without power, how is this food staying warm? I'm so confused. But again, the power was on and off, on and off. And they could have been like bringing this food in from elsewhere because of the issues. Who knows? Might not have even been cooked on site. Where are you bringing it in? And it can be hard when you're in another country to understand the different food safety things. So it can be scary, even if it is still safe to understand. Just like if somebody came here trying to understand certain things, and certain things would freak somebody out that don't freak us out. But it was hard for these young adults to understand like what's going on with this food. This is disgusting. And then they ended up spending more money on food outside of this all-inclusive resort. So they're supposed to be able to afford.
Well, so they paid a little extra so they could eat all they wanted, drink all they wanted, stay safe on the grounds of the hotel. And it turned into this disastrous week.
And you can't even access the food that, I'm sorry, you paid ahead for. When you're paying for all inclusive, it means I'm going to give you one lump sum and I have access to food. And apparently they also had issues accessing food after 10 p.m., which for spring break.
Oh,
listen,
those people are going out at 10 p.m. They're not in their hotel rooms.
They've been drinking. They need access to food and drink after. And
they're stumbling in and then they're going to be hungry and need something to soak up the alcohol. I wonder if this is going to lead to lawsuits and maybe even a documentary a la Fire Festival.
It's giving documentary. There is a group of people arriving today who have booked there. And there are some funny TikTok videos out there of like about to head out to, I can't remember what it said, but it was just funny, like cracking jokes that they're about to go to Riu Republica after they know everything that happened this week. And it's like, for me, I'd be seeing what kind of money I could get back because that freaks me out. But like, did I land in Mexico with no idea of like what was about to happen and walk a mile to and from the school that I attended while I was there? Yes. Yes, I did. So when you are 20 years old, which is how old I was when I did that, you're not thinking about those basic necessities and how you're going to meet them. You just assume you're going to figure it out when you get there. It doesn't worry you as much. Whereas now it's like, if I don't have my own hand soap ready to go for the hotel room upon landing, I'm freaking out. And we need to get to the grocery store and I'm buying I don't go to hotels without hand soap. I don't. And that's also why I love Airbnbs because there will be hand soap there. When I land in an airport and I arrive where I'm going to be, I want to wash my hands. What am I going to do? Carry the airport? Listen. So I worry about these kids that it could get more serious than just cracking jokes online.
Yeah.
I just called 20-year-olds kids. That's a problem.
And they kind of are. Their brains aren't even developed yet.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm even thinking about when Tim and I went to an all-inclusive for our honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
We were mid-20s, but it was such a fun experience because it was like, order anything you want, whatever's on the menu. There were just so many amenities that when these situations go right, it's an amazing experience. So it's so unfortunate that they shelled out all this money and they are basically camping.
Yeah. We went to Hawaii and I'm telling you, nothing is all inclusive in Hawaii. You will be paying for your food and your drink in Hawaii. But I'm telling you, it was some of the best food I've ever eaten, which is interesting because you're kind of landlocked, right? So, well, not landlocked, but the opposite of landlocked. Everything's got to be like
island.
tipped in. You're on an island. So yeah, of course they have farms and stuff. So there is access to very fresh food, but you would think a lot of things are brought in from the mainland, if you will, or the contiguous United States. So it was interesting just how good. I mean, obviously the best sushi I've ever had in my life. And this little, it's kind of like islands. Is islands everywhere in the US?
I don't know.
I wonder if the restaurant islands is everywhere. I think there's a lot of them. There's like a Hawaiian style based burger joint that's like mid-level where your plate is maybe $25, not like super expensive, but not super cheap, where it's casual, but you're not going to wear sweats there, that kind of vibe. They had that. It was basically islands. I forget what it was called. The best. I'm like, why is this? And I mean, obviously I didn't get the burger because we all know I don't eat mammals by this point. I probably got like a turkey or a veggie burger or whatever it was, but like, it was so good. We went twice. I'm like, we're in Hawaii and we're going to like this burger place that we could walk to. Some of the best food. And that wasn't even the end of it. Everything we ate was so good. The restaurant at the resort was amazing. Just, I loved Hawaii so much. I really, really did. But I do wish they would work on some all-inclusive options. I really do, because we would have paid extra for that. Or maybe there's resorts that do, but it's just so expensive that you're like, why am I going to do that? You can obviously probably prepay for breakfasts, but I'm not going to do that. That's like the meal you get off cheap for when you're traveling, right? Eat a bar or a banana and eat lunch out.
There's something fun about going and eating a hotel breakfast, though.
True.
They have all the fresh cut fruit. And
at least once, right? At least once while you're there. Yeah, especially if it's nice, like for sure. But if you're out and about and you get hungry, you got to eat out again. And then you feel like, if I eat out twice in a day, I'm not feeling that good.
It's been a while since I've been to Hawaii. I've been a couple of times, but I feel like if I were to go now, I would just live off of fresh Dole Whip and like fruit and maybe even just some shaved ice. I think I would be hitting up all of the sweet spots.
I want to redo. That's actually a goal of mine as a decade closes in. I really want to redo our honeymoon because it was such a good time. But also it's one of those things of like, can you really redo it? You know what I mean? You can revisit the places, but
you can revisit and you can make new memories.
Yes.
That's how you'll have to approach it.
Yes. You know what has some drama surrounding it in regards to weddings and whatnot is Love is Blind, which I love that show.
You mentioned it to me over the weekend and you were like, please go watch some clips. And then I was like, yes, I will. And then I didn't. I'm going to admit to you, it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was just such a busy time. But fill me in. What's going on?
Okay.
I do love that show.
There is plenty of drama surrounding this one girl named Madison and this guy Alex and Meg and Mason. But that's not even the drama that I want to talk about, because it's like, okay, that's normal reality TV drama that they're going through.
To be expected.
He said, she said stuff kind of thing. To be honest, it's not as enticing as I think the producers would want it to be. Something that came out on the reunion, though, was that one of these couples that you thought, oh, they might make it. They might be making it all the way to the altar and in real life, because on Love is Blind,
that's the end goal.
Yes. And I think most couples sign the contract to make it to the altar before they say no. A couple of them have broken up before the altar, but there's been big enough stuff where producers probably allow them to like split ways. But for the most part, the couples that get engaged do go to the altar and then will say no there or yes there, whatever.
Well, because they want it to be as dramatic as possible. And think of all the rom-coms that have ever been made. There's always that no at the altar, rushing away, not showing up to the altar. I just kind of feel like you said they must be signing a contract that says they have intentions of going all the way through with it.
Be prepared if you decide you want to break up at the altar kind of thing.
In front of your friends and family.
And it does lead to more of a shock value where you're like, wait, damn, really? She said no? I can't believe she said no. So this is actually the couple that got engaged first. And they just seemed to have a cute dynamic. I mean, some of it was a bit immature for me. He sort of had a couple things that I was like, he's not for me, but like
a red flag?
Maybe. It was just hard to pinpoint, right? Because everything's edited and kind of curated for the show. So it's hard to dive in. When they got to the altar, she said no. And this guy, he wears Hawaiian shirts. He longboarded up to the altar. He longboarded into the venue. I'm just like, this guy is
he from California?
I forget where he's from.
Don't tell me he's from like the Midwest or something. And that's
they're all from Minneapolis. Yeah. So please, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that they haven't lived their lives elsewhere. It just means that they're living now in the Midwest. Anyways, she says no. And it ends up coming out that it was maybe a good thing she said no, because, and this is where I want your opinion. At a group event, this same Madison girl, I mean, she's beautiful. She comes in with pink hair. She typically had blonde hair, so I think she was having some fun with pink for the moment. And I guess he texted her, hey, good seeing you. Love the pink hair. Something like that. And Monica, the girl, was not happy that Joey did that at all. Now, they don't even show that on the show. So this came out after somehow. I'm forgetting.
So you're saying that the couple that made it to the altar,
one of them,
and the girl ended up saying no. The guy she said no to that longboarded up to be the groom.
Yeah.
He texted a different girl?
Yes. He DM'd a different girl who is beautiful. And they were friendly in the pods.
They're all beautiful. I don't think I've seen an ugly person on Love is Blind, unfortunately.
Well, there
Love
might
is
be some,
blind
but
because they don't know them, but like not very blind. They're all attractive.
Well, many of them are attractive. Absolutely. Now, this guy, Joey and Madison, they didn't really date too much in the pods. They all pretty much have gone on like one date with each other at least, but they were, I guess, somewhat friendly, but it's not even like they had a friendship. Like they had no relationship. And Madison is like, we aren't friends. There was no reason for you to message me that at all. Like,
well, you know why? You never slip into someone's DMs unless you're wanting to form some type of bond, right?
I feel like you. Yes. I thought like, no, dude.
We know he wasn't doing it for networking. He's not doing it for a business connection. So why are you telling another girl, I like your pink hair?
Right.
If they were all single, then it wouldn't have mattered.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
Lowe's knows what makes SpringFest savings even better are member-only doorbuster deals. Right now, rewards members can save $40 on an Allen & Roth Chesler Gold faucet. Was $99, now $59. Plus, save $110 on a Cobalt 40-volt battery trimmer and blower combo kit. Was $279, now $169. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/24 while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Okay, everybody, we had to take a quick pause for an important phone call. So I'm not exactly sure where we left off with the Love is Blind drama, but Natalie has now pulled up Madison. Isn't she gorgeous?
Yeah, honestly, the pink hair is amazing. I love it. I think she's beautiful with blonde or pink.
Absolutely.
He obviously had his eye on her, right?
That's what I'm saying. And
Which is normal. It's normal. You're surrounded by beautiful people in this setting.
And you talk to them in the pods. So you're finally seeing them face to face and stuff like that. So sure. And here's the other side of the coin that I want your opinion on is that he is very close with, I believe, more than one sister that he has. To the point where at the wedding, there was a wheelchair put out in place that he put there himself during the ceremony to represent one of his sisters. So to me, he might be a guy that doesn't have a problem being friends with women. It's the setting, though, to me, that makes it wrong. And me and my sister were actually, I don't want to say arguing, but we were on different sides of this. I was like, no, Kara, it's weird. Like, it's not really okay that he DM'd her. And she goes, well, to me, he didn't say anything bad. And And I'm like, well, you're right. He might have just actually be more friendly with women and enjoy friendships with women. But like, I don't know.
He didn't say anything bad.
Not yet.
It wasn't necessarily flirty either, but he is commenting on her appearance. This person who he did quote unquote date, because that's what you do in the pod. You basically just speed date until you find people that you connect with, and then you talk and talk.
Only date them. And
yeah. And so if she was one of the people he was dating and then he sees her for the first time in person, comments on her appearance, whether it seemed harmless or not, how could you not see it as a little bit flirtatious of him at least thinking, oh, is he commenting that to her because he feels he missed out on that?
He really didn't date her much outside of what would have been the initial run through the pods. They really didn't connect in that way, but that could have been more Madison not wanting to date him. He could have been interested in her. It's kind of hard to tell the way editing and everything was done because nothing was happening. Of course, they didn't focus on that. So, we don't really know how he felt about her outside of Madison going, we are not really friends. Of course, we're friendly. We were on the same show together, but no, and we didn't really develop a relationship. So she's calling out that DMing is weird. And this girl.
Well, why couldn't he tell her in person?
Right. Dude, cool hair.
Hey, I love your hair. Love it. That would have been fine. I think it's he was thinking about her after the event, went onto social media, clicked on her name, clicked hit DM, typed up the message, and then sent it to her while engaged to someone else.
Thank you. I mean, he really might be mostly innocent with it, but the fact that he's thinking about her and all of these things when they don't have a relationship, it's just off. And they do all live in the same city. At least at that time, they all live or are from Minneapolis. Now, some of them may move because careers are moving them in that direction. But during the show, they're all there because of Minneapolis. So they see each other out at bars. This is not a California or an East Coast big city. Okay. This is a Midwest big city. Like it probably has like a couple 100,000 people, I bet. I'm going to look up how many people Minneapolis has right now.
Did his fiance say no at the altar because of this exchange? Because I feel like that might have been extreme. Obviously, I didn't watch, so it was for other reasons?
No, it was other reasons. She just didn't feel entirely ready yet, which is the reason why a lot of them say no.
Mm-hmm.
But this came out after, and
after.
It was like, okay, good. I could be wrong, but I'm like 90% sure that all came out after, because if it came out before, they would have had it totally as part of the drama on the show, because they would have dug that.
I haven't watched this season of Love is Blind, clearly, but I have seen some clips of the reunion, and people are talking about Nick Lachey's appearance. Did he get some work done? Cosmetic work? Did you notice anything?
Not that I noticed, but I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, which is fine. Everyone in Hollywood gets it, but I thought it was interesting that they would bring that up.
He might have filler or something like that. It's super common, especially as you age a little bit. He's like 50. Not that that's super duper old, people who might be over 50 or are 50 listening, but for being on camera and keeping your appearance up to where you're feeling comfortable at what you're looking back at. Yeah, a lot of them go towards filler. And as one ages and your skin thins, that's what adds maybe a little bit of youth back. I'm not pro filler because I don't think we know a lot about where it goes. We thought it was dissolving, and now we know it's...
And it doesn't.
Like it does, but much slower. And so it actually just disperses throughout your body, and who knows what that's going to bring about.
I've tried filler, and I've told you, I think I got it the first year that we were recording the podcast. So like back in 2019, I only did it once. I tried Botox and filler and loved the Botox. I didn't need it. I was, very early 30s, maybe 30. And the filler, the doctor, I went to somebody in Beverly Hills, very well respected.
That's where you want to go.
That's where you want to go. That's where everyone does it. And, I truly did not need filler under eye, and I just wanted it. I didn't need it, but I still got it because I wanted to try it. I felt like my under eyes could use some perking up. They didn't. And if it had been an honest doctor, I think he would have said, there's no need for you to get it. But he had told me, all right, it'll dissolve in a couple of months and you can come back in. Well, $1,500 later from the Botox and the filler, I really didn't feel like I would want to do it again because I just didn't feel like it was necessary. It didn't change the look very much on my face. I got filler under my eyes. I got Botox on my forehead. And then I got it in my jaw because I thought it'll help with the TMJ. It was okay. The Botox wore off pretty quickly. The filler, I thought it wore off. Cut to a few years later, and my sister and I were taking pictures. I'm like, what's that lump under my eye? The filler never dissolved. It's simply migrated. Yep. And in certain lighting, you can see this little lump. Since I only got it once and never went back, I'm thankful for that, because can you imagine people that have faces full of filler that have never gone away and simply move? But yeah, I always tell everyone, this is me jumping on my little soapbox. I truly do not believe you need it under the eye. And they've actually come out and said, don't do it under the eye anymore. This is 6 years later.
You end up having to balance everything. So then you end up with filler in the tip of your nose, under your eyes, in your chin, in your lips. And a lot of people who were doing filler 10 years ago are stopping altogether or doing what they used to do a full syringe of, do a quarter syringe.
Honestly, I am so glad that I never went back. Some people who get it done look incredible, but it is a maintenance thing.
Yeah, I think it can change your life and your confidence. It could change your life. Depending on what you have going on with your body, right? And what's going to make you feel better and what you need it for, right? If you have an actual cosmetic, let's call it issue, but it doesn't have to be that big of an issue. This really bugs me. Just feels really uneven. I don't feel good. I don't feel myself.
Yeah, go do it.
Yeah, I was in a car accident. I broke my cheek and now it's funky, but only I can see it. But this makes me feel better. Amazing. I think it's cool it exists, but I think that, it just doesn't need to be part of everybody's self-care routine, if you will. I think it's one of those society things that is costing women more money than men. Although men do it. I'm not going to lie, but we all know women do it more.
Right. And I think people that are in their early 20s are doing it way too young. I'm going to be honest. that's not something that everyone wants to hear. I do not think your fresh, youthful face needs to be plumped up. It's already plump.
Yes.
That's why I do not believe that that doctor should have agreed to fill under my eyes. I did not need it.
Yeah.
And I think it ends up aging you when you do it excessively.
Millie Bobby Brown.
We talked about her last week.
Beautiful, but she does look a little older than she is. And she went from looking 11 for like ever to now she's 21. And some pictures just came out. She does look a little bit older than she is. We talked about her last time where she's not happy with people talking about her. So I want to comment on that in a very respectful way, but she kind of does. But it also could just be the like, hey, you looked little for so long and now this comparison is really messing up my brain. So I don't really know, but I do know that filler and those things early on are tough. I feel the same way about breast augmentations on really young bodies, because for me, I will say, I don't think I grew into that, if you will, until like 24. So if you're 18, 19, 20, getting an augmentation, I feel like what may or may not catch up to you later, then you're getting reductions, and it's a lot more maintenance than you actually think. You have to go in, you got to get them replaced every so often. Like, it's a big deal doing these things, and you're so young getting them done. And I just wish they enjoyed their youth and beauty while they actually have it. It's sad they can't see it. And I get it. You know, the dysmorphia is real. They can't help it. Society does it to them.
I feel like such a part of the older generation, because I don't know how many times my mom would say, like, just enjoy your young body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look great.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done. And it's always looked back in reflection of, oh, I should have listened to my mother. But as we're capping off this conversation around non-surgical cosmetic procedures, I do want to address, have you seen those TikToks where they have a plastic surgeon and they will pull up an influencer and have him guess how old he believes she is? And it's usually someone 22, 23, 24. And he always guesses 35, 40. That is his job. His job is to look at faces all day, every day, and enhance. And he's even commenting after he says and learns about these people's true ages. Wow. And that's what happens when you do too many procedures too early in life. It ages you. And so we're starting to see that.
I haven't seen those. I thought you were going to talk about the ones where they say what they believe that the celebrity or influencer has had done, but I haven't seen them guess
I always
age.
watch the age one. And
so
I love
it.
I'll have to send them to you next time.
Please get them on my FYP, because that's really interesting to me. I'm also really into this dentist who does do cosmetic dentistry, and she discusses what and when she believes different celebrities or influencers have had their teeth done or what it was to them. And
hashtag bring natural teeth back. They look beautiful.
Yes. And I do see a trend to that with veneers more and more often now, where they are trying to keep as much of the normal character as possible when they first get them, but they all end up with the same square teeth.
Little chiclets.
I'm just waiting for Taylor to lose that one tooth that's like so her. It's like she has a really long canine.
Yes.
Normally your canine's a little bit shorter than your front incisors, but she has a really long one. I'm waiting for that to disappear because I'm like, at some point it's going to go away.
She had chipped one of her canines on a microphone, and then it was a few years until she got it done. But I believe she does have maybe a very natural set of veneers. Obviously, I'm not a dentist.
They keep getting a little more intense though. They keep getting more and more like just natural. I also know somebody I grew up with that just got them, and they are just
going to be listening?
No, they don't listen, but they are just so basic, one size fits all. And it's like all the character from your beautiful face is gone, even though sure, it's beautiful to have big white teeth, but like they weren't what your body naturally made. So the size and things are just a little bit funkier.
I think some people really pull them off, but honestly, all I care about when it comes to dental things is like dental hygiene. Just if you're a singer, brush your tongue. Like, have you ever seen a singer and they have this slacked out tongue? That's gross to me. Like, I will look at your veneered teeth all day long. I do not want to see that white, scaly tongue in your mouth.
Yeah. I have a water flosser now, and it's really great. It definitely keeps tartar at bay for longer. You can feel it like after a dental checkup. If you keep using your water flosser, like when you can feel that your teeth have really been like, that's not like smoothed out yet by tartar or anything that the dentist scrapes off, it stays like that longer. It's very interesting. I'm like, okay, there's something to this, but you have to regularly floss and then do your water flosser.
Yeah, it's just like an enhancement. It's in addition.
I mean, if you want to be lazy a couple nights a week and only do water flossing, that might be fine. I don't know. Ask your dentist. But I do both, and then I water floss when I feel like it. It's not like an every night thing because it's newer to my routine.
You have to be careful when you're water flossing because if you hit it too powerful, like the setting, you can like shoot your mirror.
Yes.
If you don't keep your mouth shut, it'll like shoot out of your mouth, hit your mirror, and then you're cleaning up everything.
The one I got, because I'm chronically online, was actually from TikTok, but I researched the company. I didn't buy it just like on TikTok.
How did I know? It was from TikTok Shop.
Well, I liked it because it had a special tonsil stone setting, and somebody in this household does like to use it for tonsil stones. Not me. I don't have tonsils. Not since I was
Posey.
like 5. It's Posey. Yep.
Her dog.
And it really gives them a lot more confidence back in their oral hygiene, which they have great oral hygiene. But that is something that tonsil stones do make your breath a little stinky, and you can't help it. Your tonsils just naturally grab the food, and bacteria and the food crystallize and make a little stinky stone, and you got to get them out. A stinky stone. So that's why I got this one, because it has either very powerful or very gentle and 2 different types of water coming out settings. Because this dentist also has tonsil stones. Then when I researched the company, it's called the Something Nice, which is kind of a funny name, but that's the company, and it is legit. It's a good product. I like it. So if you're looking for one or you get tonsil stones, or you've ever seen a weird white thing on your tonsil and then it disappears, you probably do. It's a good one to have, because that way you're not just shooting really hard pressure at your tonsil stone with like a regular.
So I was going to say, like, you're literally shooting a water jet at your back of your throat.
Yes. Please do not use a regular water flosser to get tonsil stones out. You could use this, or there's a lot of other options that are out there to safely remove them, because otherwise you could end up hurting yourself or getting some kind of tonsillitis.
Yeah. So it's either a sore throat or a stinky breath.
Yeah, please. So be careful. But this one does have a special nozzle and pressure setting and spray setting for tonsil stones directly, which is cool. So anyways, I started doing that. Love that. The Something Nice water flosser. It's a good one. But I know we are probably just about out of time, even though I can always talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours. People would be appalled if they knew that we actually talk like an hour before we record too. But that's what friends do.
That's it for this week, as Paige said. But don't forget to tune in on Thursday for our regularly scheduled case coverage, and next Monday for our next Unscripted.
Thanks so much for being here. Until then, bye.
Today's episode is brought to you by Acorns. People often say that the best investor is a dead investor. Morbid or not, here's why. It's because those who have passed can't make rash decisions, and they can't pull their money out in a panic every time they hear about a dip in the stock market. Acorns is built to help you invest for the long term, and, well, you don't need to be dead. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. What's great about it, too, is you don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes. Basically, Acorns does all the hard parts so you can give your money a chance to grow. Sign up now and join over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/diaries or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive deposit to grow Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/diaries. My parents did an incredible job of helping me build healthy associations with money. It wasn't just about learning numbers, it was about understanding how balance and intentionality shaped our financial lives. Those early lessons set me up for success and helped me navigate the real world with more confidence when it came to money. And it's a big reason why I'm so excited to share today's sponsor with you, Acorns Early. Acorns Early is a smart money app and a debit card for kids that helps them learn the value of money. Kids can spend what they earn with their very own debit card. They'll love the new sense of independence and getting to choose from 35 plus customizable card designs. Plus, parents can keep track of where and when their kids are spending. You can get real-time spend notifications, set your kids' spending limits, and instantly block lost or stolen cards. They might not realize it now, but starting to invest early is going to have a huge impact on their financial future. And the best part? It's simple. And Acorns Early is such a smart, accessible tool to do that. If you're looking for a way to make a real difference in the financial future of the younger people in your life, Acorns Early is an amazing place to start. Ready to help your kids learn the value of money? Just head to acornsearly.com/diaries or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled.
The search for truth never ends. Introducing June's Journey, a hidden object mobile game with a captivating story. Connect with friends, explore the roaring 20s, and enjoy thrilling activities and challenges while supporting environmental causes. After 7 years, the adventure continues with our immersive travels feature. Explore distant cultures and engage in exciting experiences. There's always something new to discover. Are you ready? Download June's Journey now on Android or iOS.